What up, everybody? Welcome to Keeping It 9450, Codename WBB. I'm your host, Daniel Artest. No Lolo today because Lolo is in Phoenix at the WNBA AllStar Weekend. Myself, KDot, we are having extreme FOMO vibes, man. KDot, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? What's up, man?
Hey, yo, what up? What it is? What's popping?
Very, very uninspired. What up? What it is? What's popping? Oh my God, KDot, man. Listen, I totally understand, yo. I understand how you feeling, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the same boat as you right now, man. We should be out there in Phoenix. You know, Lola out there talking about I'm booked and busy and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yo, listen, man. We were supposed to be out there. Shout outs to everybody that's out there. Everybody in the group chat, Lolo. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that follow us and stuff. Whoever's in Phoenix, shout outs. But listen, Kata, before I let you talk, got to give a big, big thank you to the one and only, the incomparable Cindy Brunson. You know, definitely got to give a lot of love to her as well because of, just looking out for us. You know what I'm saying? Especially during this weekend. Definitely, pulled a couple of strings, and I'm just glad that we have somebody like her in the corner, man. But go ahead, brother. What's going on, man?
Yeah, big thank you, and much appreciative to Cindy Brunson. You know exactly what you did, and we truly thank you for doing what you did. Truly a blessing to us, and we'll forever be grateful. But I mean, I I am here, but we need to be over there on the
Yeah,
left. It's gonna. I mean, the conversation is obviously very freestyle tonight. Because we have a lot of festivities going on in Phoenix, and shout out to the crew. Shout out to everybody that's out there. I hope you all had a safe flight, safe drive, safe safe way to Phoenix. I know that everybody will be between Phoenix and Scottsdale this weekend, so we really hope you guys have fun and be safe and whatever you guys do. And to the players, welcome to Phoenix. I know that they had practice today between the USA national team and also the WNBA AllStars. They got things started. I know that they also revealed the $100 million facility that the Phoenix Mercury have, and also revealed Diana Taurasi's court, which is dope. Diana Taurasi, considered one of the greatest women's basketball players that's played the game, still playing. And much respect to her for getting that honor today. I saw a picture of her and Penny Taylor. So that was so dope to see, and it's just amazing what the WNBA has grown into, especially these past 4 years that we've been covering, even though we've been avid fans of the WNBA since its inception.
yeah.
But I bro, I'm mad, man. I'm sorry, man. The FOMO is going to be incredibly crazy this weekend. I'm so happy for people that are out there, but I'm just mad that I'm not out there. I'm mad that we're not out there. But it's gonna be fun. We have a whole bunch of activations via Zoom that I'm going to be engaged in. So we'll see what the weekend brings. Whenever I can be available for it. And like I said, man, All-Star is here, And I just want to make sure that, more importantly, just everybody who is out there who is having fun, just make sure that you guys are safe.
Yeah, exactly. It's been an interesting transition for me personally, my personal life. You know what I mean? Like I was in South Carolina, then I was like, yo, I'm moving to New York City. I was in New York. Now I'm in Indianapolis. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Indianapolis and just figuring life out and stuff like that. So I'm in a big transition in life right there. So that's probably why like I'm not in Phoenix or anything like that. I wish I was, man. But listen, man, we got two people out there representing us as Lolo. Also, we got Corey as well. That's covering Codename Wings and also Codename Aces and stuff. We're there in spirit.
The 9450 is definitely there.
We're definitely in the building, boots on the ground, Timberlands on the ground, wherever, Birkenstock sandals. Like our footprints right now is in the desert, sweating or whatever, what I'm saying? Or maybe sleep, knowing whatever Lolo's doing, But man, like, as looking back on this first half of the season, man, it's just been some elite basketball play, man. I'm just excited to see what this second half of the season. Obviously, we got a long break coming up after AllStar Weekend, a long break, but it's just been so much fun, covering women's basketball as a whole, and like from the support that we got, the way that we've grown as a podcast, to like how the game has grown, KDot, since our first episode back in 2021. Look at what we're doing now. Now, look, you got, a new television deal, which is $2.2 billion, going up from what was it, 60 million a year up to about that's 220 million or 200 million a year. It's crazy right now, man. Like, man, it's just an amazing time. I was very, very happy and stuff, especially remember that passionate conversation me and you had when we was talking about it. And we was like, yo, listen, women's basketball is about to get 125 million a year. And we was excited about that. We was like $1 billion, K-Dot. We said $1 billion, me and you. We said $1 billion is the answer. They get $2.2 billion. That's dope. But I know people also saying that it was kind of a slight or whatever, like maybe the NBA might have slighted. When you think about it now, K-Dot, when you look at it now, and just even judging like the All-Star votes, how it just went up over like 600-700%. Yo, 2.2 might be a little low. 2.2 might be a little low when you really think about it. Man, that thing might have to be half. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we obviously know that the NBA brings in the lion's share. We already know. But like, I honestly think that maybe they kind of could have went up to about 3.5 for women's basketball, for the WNBA. This is not even a women's basketball deal. This is a WNBA deal, So like, man, like what they've done, I'm happy. But when you really think about like the way they're talking, they're like the way social media talks about women's basketball is 24/7 now, like how it is when they're talking NBA. Like we got these weird websites like NBA Central, not NBA Central, NBA Central or Butt Crack Sports, which is a weird name. Yes, that's the name, Butt Crack Sports. All these fake sites and everybody's tapping into it. We got my man Rob from Black Sports Online, like just always just chiming in and everything like that. Clickbait titles on your tweets though, Rob, but you're my guy. We go way back. But like the way everybody is talking about it. Now they're talking about a daily WNBA show now. Come on, man. Like, that's crazy. And the fact we spearheaded all this movement, Kate. When we came on, that's when everything started going up. When we started this, everything started going up, man. Yo, listen, pat ourselves on the back, man. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? Actually, don't pat ourselves on the back. Yo, them sponsors, yo, you know what I mean? 2.2 billion. Listen, we don't want 2.2 billion. I mean, it'd be great, but just give the media companies, give us, okay, now what we talking about? 100 mil? What are we doing? 100 mil? Like, we don't want too much. We'll take 25 mil. Like, listen, retire us. And that's basically what it is. Go ahead, bro.
So it's funny that you mentioned kind of like the media deal, right? Because we discussed the media deal. We discussed possibilities offline, and I can tell everybody the 623 that's listening, and well, it's going up, upticking to 624 that's listening right now. When we talked about the original media deal, it wasn't even near what the WNBA got based off of the report. The original media deal that we initially talked about was being somewhat conservative and being quote unquote safe. We recommended that they can get at least $1 billion, but the years would be way less. We said if they can negotiate a tentative 5 to 7 year deal worth 700 million to 1 billion, that would be the starter of something that could be way bigger down the line. We didn't anticipate a loan deal of 11 years worth 2.2 billion, which would give them at least 200 million per year, which is incredible. And that's just the singular WNBA deal. We're not talking about the addition of a renegotiated deal with Ion Television. We're not talking about a streaming deal just yet that they currently have with Amazon Prime. And that could eventually be incorporated into this $2.2 billion deal that we're currently talking about. But this is something that has been incredibly worth like the time, the effort, and all of the pieces that we had continued to talk about since we've covered the league in 2020. Fast forward 4 years later, the same dudes that talked about this in 2020, now we're seeing it come into fruition. And it couldn't be a more perfect time with the opt-out of the CBA coming up in 2024, which will expire in 2025. And then they will be able to renegotiate after the 2025 season, which will kick in from a media deal standpoint in 2026. So we're talking about buku bucks in the salary cap exponentially getting higher. So for us to talk about that in 2020, and there is proof out there. You go back to our very first couple of shows that we talked about from a business standpoint, even before shout out to 21 Titles, my girls, Britt and Tay, joined the network. Like, this is what we talked about. This is the vision that we had for the WNBA and its players. And I know that, again, this is an impromptu podcast for us, but this is also the real. And the real is, we know that they could earn much more than that 2.2 billion, right?
Yeah.
But we both, as businessmen who understands what market is and what the market entails, that's probably the best deal that they would get in this present moment. Now, people don't know that tentatively this deal isn't concrete. And what I mean by that is this deal could be up for renegotiation if there's more growth within the next 2, 3 to 5 years. We have to begin treating this product the way that it properly needs to be treated. And I'm not saying that we need to treat it like the NBA, but we need to treat it as what it is exactly.
Yes.
An entertainment entity and not a singular corporate business entity. We can't treat this like Goldman Sachs. We have to treat this somewhat sort of a WWE type thing from an entertainment business standpoint, because when you have the fans that you have, it's all about entertainment.
Yes.
It's all about the entertainment. Yes, it can be about the basketball, but there's an entertainment factor that you have to put into it. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people are either afraid to talk about, or they just don't have the singular business knowledge to talk about that. In business, there are many different sectors of business. me being in a lot of corporate business for 14 years, I understand that there are different lines of businesses within one singular entity. So if you're looking at a financial institution, like let's say a Bank of America or Wells Fargo, Bank of America or Wells Fargo doesn't have a singular line of business. They have multiple lines of businesses, meaning they have a mortgage sector, they have a personal banking sector, they have a corporate investment banking sector, they have a human resource sector, they have a technology sector. So when we're looking at the WNBA, you just can't treat the WNBA as just the basketball. You also have to treat the WNBA as basketball. You have to treat the WNBA as a media entity. You have to treat the WNBA also as the entertainment entity that everyone is engaged in. So, with all that being said, I am extremely happy that the WNBA was at least able to get the 2.2 billion, because again, I thought that they were at the particular time that we talked about it. And shout out to Shantae of 21 Titles, who's in the building with us in the Text Winners Comments Lounge. We talked about this in our CBA conversation, and also shameless plug, y'all go check that out, the CBA conversation that we had with 21 Titles and Lolivia Pope. We said that, again, between the 5 to 7 years, 700 million to 1 point whatever billion would suffice enough to increase the salary cap at least to a couple $1 million, where the women will finally see the $1 million salaries that they're very much deserving of. But now that you have 200 million in a singular media deal, not to mention the 60 million that you're already valued at, you add that up and it could be sky's the limit at the moment for the WNBA. And now it's up to the Players Association. It is up to the president, Nneka Agbumake, and the rest of the union to negotiate a solid collective bargaining agreement. Now, again, I don't know if this is going to be triggering for people, but again, I know business. I've been in business for 14 years. I've been in investment banking for longer than 8 years. I've been I've been at negotiation tables for a very long time. And for those who want to see a immediate 50-50 split in this next CBA, we're probably not going to get it. And that's just the straight up truth. The reason why we're probably not going to get it, and I will be highly surprised if they do see a 50-50, because currently the CBA is at 10%. They get 10% of any type of revenue share, and that's if they reach a gain. That's if they reach a gain for the fiscal year. So if they don't even reach that gain within the fiscal year, they don't even get the 10% that they're owed. So with that being said, I think the starting point will probably need to be at least between 45 and 48% so that they can negotiate, but they need to set the bar high. And by them setting the bar high with that, maybe we can get to a point where they add jersey revenue, because right now they don't get money for jerseys. So any jersey that is being sold right now, they're not even seeing that money. So I know I've been on I took a whole soliloquy on the business side of it. So I want to get your thoughts, because this is going to be a great conversation for us to have, because you might agree and you might disagree, just from a negotiation table standpoint. So what do you think of my proposal of them at least setting the bar high for themselves in reaching between the 45 and 48% revenue share sector, which I'm sure the majority of the owners might agree with, but you're going to have some of those owners who don't, who uses the NBA as a tax write-off, that's going to raise their hand and say, we're not going to have that. Y'all still owe us money from all the dough that y'all pretty much lost us every fiscal year since 2006. So what do you think about my proposal?
50-50 or nothing. Got to have a line. You see how we split the screen, me and you? That's the line. You cannot do that. You can't do it. You can't do it. Players play. I get it. Owners pay. And that's just what it is. This game on the women's side has grown immensely, especially with these rookies coming in and with the future rookies that's coming in. If college basketball market these next up and coming players right, you know what I'm saying? Especially, with Juju over these next couple of years. I just think that it got to be 50-50. Personally, it has to be a 53-47 split for the players. I think that's what it has to be. But I think that the players should not give up any ground unless it's half and half. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. I think that's just how it's got to be. I remember the NBA had it to a point where I think it was like 53-47 or 54-46 or something like that. But now I think they even went to a 50-50 split. That anything else is a loss. Anything else is a loss. It got to be half and half. You can't be like 47-48%. That's playing a little bit too safe, my brother over there, the beautiful black man in KDot.
Listen, and we have a question from my man Cam. Can they actually negotiate for owners of teams without team practice facilities to have a timeline and minimum standards for those practice facilities? Yes, indeed they can, because we're talking about a players' union versus the owners. Now, again, remember what I said. There are much more progressive owners than there are non-progressive owners right now. I would say I would probably count on my fingers 3 non-progressive like owners. And on top of that, if we want to keep it a beam, we have Mark Davis, who's already made a return on his investment. He invested roughly $44 million in the Las Vegas Aces, meaning he purchased the Las Vegas Aces for roughly $4 million, and he put $40 million into a state-of-the-art facility. And look what the benefits are. 2-time champions back to back. Not only that, now the Las Vegas Aces are valued at $140 million. So think about that. You
crazy.
Invest roughly $44 million, and you already got roughly $100 million back already, and you're not even 4 years old into your ownership.
That's crazy. What Mark Davis is doing, has to be, unprecedented, man. For like just betting on women's sports and everything. It's just so dope. Like I don't know what percent that is. Probably like 500% return. I don't know, man. My math ain't that good. But speaking of the Aces, hey, listen, we got a guest. You know what I'm saying? We got a guest in the building and stuff. Let me holler at my guy real quick, man. Listen, we got my guy from Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, the host of 2 podcasts on the 9450, Codename Wings, Codename Aces. We got my guy, Corey Harrison, in the building. Corey, what's going on, brother? What's up, man?
I'm finally on the panel.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, but your volume is mad low, my guy. You got to turn your headphones up. You got to turn your volume up so we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, go up a little bit more. Go all the way up to the
just
top,
a little
man.
bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, what about now?
Yeah, you got to go up, man. You got to go all the way up. It's low.
Okay. How's it now?
All right, that should work. We should be able to work it out. But what's going on with you, Corey? How you doing, bro?
Man, everything's good, man. I just came back from the game yesterday, and it was a great game. I know y'all probably saw it on TV.
Yeah,
that was a thrilling game. Dallas Wings and Indiana Fever. That was a pretty good game.
Yeah, it was. That game was crazy. That game was crazy yesterday because of what Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston was doing when they was running that 2-player offense and stuff, right? Caitlin, I think Aaliyah Boston had a career high 28 points. Caitlin Clark, obviously, we know. I think she had 24 points and 19 assists.
19 assists.
It's insane what she was doing.
Ridiculous.
As a rookie, I was just like, damn, like she's really passing this ball and stuff like that, But oh my God, that's crazy. in the comments just caught me off guard just now, Kata. I'm sorry. I don't think you see it, but it caught me off guard just now. But we ain't gonna get into all that, yo. Nah, that threw me off right there. But listen, man, the Fever had that game, and now I know that you asked Caitlin Clark a question, and I wish I had it. I wish I had it on my thing right now. But she definitely made a good point. There was 2 games that the Fever kind of tricked off, which was the game against the Mystics, and then yesterday. They were supposed to win that game yesterday. I honestly thought that Caitlin got a little bit too passive with passing the ball, too passive. She didn't shoot the ball that much. There was a couple of mid-range opportunities in that fourth quarter where I thought that she should have shot the ball, you know. And I know, Caitlin is becoming this pass-first point guard now. We see what she's doing. In the month of July, she's averaging 20.6 rebounds and 12.5 assists in the month of July, But I just thought that, you gotta shoot more. You gotta shoot more and stuff. You're supposed to at least, 28 to 30 points with those 19 assists and stuff, man. But yeah, what's your thought? Yeah, go ahead, Corey.
I want to highlight that they was turning the ball over a lot as well. If you look at the stats and you look up and down that stat sheet, they should have won the game. But if you look at that one glaring discrepancy, the turnovers, some of those turnovers they had could have been extra possessions where they could have actually sealed this game. If the game got away from them, it was a couple shots that it was act of God. Some of those shots that the Dallas Wings were making, I mean, one shot rolled around. I think Odyssey shot a ball and it just kept going around the rim, and it went in. The crazy shot from Enrique, it was just just some fluke. But if you think about the nuts and bolts of everything, just to keep it, just 100, it was the turnovers.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, real quick, though, man, got to give Odyssey Slims her flowers, man. Like, what a game she had. 24 points, 9 assists. Basically got the game-sealing defensive play on Caitlin forcing that turnover with the back tap and diving on the floor for the ball, man. Like, I don't know why Odyssey does not have more of a stable home in the WNBA. Like, why she's always on these hardship contracts and stuff. Like, do anybody like her personally? Like, what's going on with the reason why Odyssey Sims does not have a stable home? Why not a contending team picks her up to have her come off the bench? You know what I'm saying? To back up, let's just say, like, she would have been perfect in Las Vegas while Chelsea was out. You know what I'm saying? Because they needed that point guard. Think about it, KDot. When everybody's playing their natural position, I think the Aces is 9-1 or 10-1 or whatever. But however, whatever their record are, whatever their record is. This dude is crazy, yo. These comments is bugged out, yo. I'm sorry, man. Comments is throwing me off. Nah, but
yeah, buddy, got to get up out of here. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's crazy. He probably come back around too. But Odyssey would have helped the Aces early struggles in the season because everybody would have been playing their natural position and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I can't like, you got to explain more, man. I don't understand like the issue with why Odyssey is not, having a stable home in the WNBA, making a 6-figure deal and stuff. Why she's on these weird contracts?
Yeah, you know what? It's very baffling to me as well because she does such a great job at AU. I really can't fathom what the deal is. I feel like she's incredibly productive with whoever she plays with, and I know that the Dallas Wings in particular, like that should be her home. I think she fits very well and what Latricia Trammell is doing from a system standpoint. She does all of the little things. I think that it gets to a point sometimes where reputation is more important than anything. And sometimes when you have like those type of reputations, for some reason, it keeps you from getting a permanent spot. But I don't see where her reputation would have put her in this position, to be honest with you. So I think that Odyssey has been doing an incredible job, and they have to figure out some way to get her in a permanent spot, because it's something that from an overall gameplay standpoint, like she's incredibly needed for that team, and I think she complements Arike incredibly well in that backcourt. So it's something that needs to be figured out, and hopefully Dallas gets a chance to do that.
Yeah, I hope so, man. But let's talk about your aces real quick, Corey, man. You know what I'm saying? You here. You know what I mean? You're the resident aces guy for us. What's your thoughts on the Aces? First half. So obviously, we know how they started out struggling. Then they picked it up. They turn it around. We see A'ja Wilson is having the greatest basketball season in WNBA history right now, from the metrics, from the stats, everything. You know what I'm saying? So like what's your thoughts from your viewpoint on the first half of the season for them?
I'm gonna say something about the Aces that a lot of people probably don't want to say. A'ja Wilson, obviously, you know what she represents. She's a great player, but if they don't have Chelsea Gray, they don't have nothing.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Seriously, like, she puts everybody in their position. She makes the right plays when they need to be made. She sets up A'ja Wilson. I mean, A'ja can get her own bucket. We know that. But there's this one move that she does when she goes in the paint, and then Chelsea finds her, and she has her back to the basket, and she has like this unguardable fadeaway, and it's just like beautiful because all the players are in their natural position. Everybody's like where they're supposed to be, and she has these crazy passes where she has like the craziest court vision. Like, I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and I don't know how she even got this pass off. I don't know what she was like, how she even thought about like this pass to make this pass. But long story short, she was coming down. It was a fast break. She had already beat her man or woman, and she found Kelsey Plum in the corner for a three, but it was a no look. Like, she just threw it, and she knew she was back there, and she knew she was gonna make it. Like, the trust that she has in her teammates and setting them up is just, she's the best point guard in the league.
Yo, these comments is crazy, yo. Hold on, let me listen. Thank God this is actually a podcast. I'm probably not gonna even put this on Apple, yo, because you know what, Ray Charles, you know what, man? I respect your commitment, brother. You know what I'm saying? Probably gonna block you again, but I respect your commitment to the cause and stuff, man. You're a funny guy. Nah, but I mean, you're right, Corey. I don't disagree with anything that you said, man. KDot, what's your follow up on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. Obviously, with Chelsea Gray, she is literally the additional battery pack that runs this entire machine, right? And I think that from that standpoint, the Aces will continue to be a complete team. I know that sometimes when you're looking at the Aces, and the starts are always going to predicate the finishes of the game. And the past couple games, they've started a little sluggish. I know against the Mystics, they allowed, I think, 16 points from Ariel Atkins. They ended up winning that game, but you turn right back around, you come home, and you have Chicago, and Kennedy Carter goes off in the first quarter like crazy. I believe she had like 16 or 17 points. But I really, really like what the Aces have done with Chelsea back in the lineup and healthy. And what's the most important thing out of all of this is, how in the hell is A'ja Wilson even better than her previous MVP and Defensive Player of the Year years? Like, it's freaking incredible. I know that I had a question for her the other day. I believe it was Sunday after the Mystics game. And I told her, like your playmaking has like been incredible this year. And what do you attribute that to? And she's like, man, like I'm just putting in work. And I just love that answer from Asia because you can tell how much she puts work into her craft.
Yeah.
And what's more important about that, and I want Corey to elaborate on this because he's boots on the ground in Vegas most of the time. You can just see it in pregame. You can see it during the layup lines, like how focused she is. And Coach Becky Hammond has put this immense trust into Asia, and she's done that since she started coaching there. But it's like each year they have this incredible additional trust factor that is just amazing, and it goes even further into her leadership because the loss against Chicago, she's waiting. Obviously, Usher is doing his thing. Usher was in the building. We know that infamous press conference when she said, "You better come to a game, Usher, or I better see you, Usher." And then she, goes to the concert, and he finally gets to a game. Unfortunately, they lose, but the leadership where she says they ain't do anything all game, but they want to take a picture with Usher.
Yeah,
Like
so that was funny.
the leader, that like leadership, that's incredible because it just goes to show how important she wants every game to be a win.
Yep.
She doesn't care about her stats at the end of the day.
Nope.
She wants to make sure that they win the game. Whether she has 1 point and 1 rebound, which we know that's not going to happen this year because she's on a mission. But even if it's 35 points and 19 rebounds, 20 rebounds, it's not going to matter. Like she wants to win. And she holds everybody to a particular standard where she's like fall in line or get left back. It's
Yeah.
like what Beanie Siegel said in State Property. You know what I'm saying? Like get down and lay down, basically. So I love what Asia is doing from a leadership standpoint. And Corey, I just want you to elaborate a little more on her leadership now that you've seen her a couple more than once in person now since the preseason game in South Carolina. But
Before he go though, if we was to do awards, I have 2 people up for most improved player now. Asia Wilson, because we've seen the jump that she has,
right,
and also because this team is not as good as they was last year. Sabali.
well, I think Satu solidified her most improved.
Yeah. Well, she's more viable though, man. Nah, because what about the record with them or whatever. Nah, but Asia, go ahead. I say Asia. Corey, go ahead and finish your soliloquy on Asia Wilson real quick.
Yeah, like her leadership on the team is just like bar none. Like it's good as you can get.
Yeah.
What I want to say, just to kind of talk about a little bit about like the transition from last year, because I've been covering the team for a couple of years now, and I've just seen like a pattern of her growth. Like when I first started covering the team, like it was kind of hard for her to figure out what her role was on the team because they had Liz and her on the floor at the same time most of the time. It just didn't work. And then after Liz left, then you kind of start seeing Asia start coming into her own, and then start taking on that leadership role. And it was one game, I don't know if it was me that asked or somebody else asked her, how is it possible that you've gotten better? As good as you are, and as good as you've been for this team, how have you gotten better? And her answer is just saying that she's more locked in. She's more locked in. And I didn't know what she meant by that, because a player of her caliber, a player that is accomplished as Asia Wilson is, she says she's more locked in. And I didn't understand that. But you can see it. You can see that she's like, it's a difference. It's whatever she meant by that, you can actually look at it and see that, hey, something is different. Some kind of switch is turned on. It just feels like as she gets better, as she gets more accomplished, she's putting that more pressure on her to be just that much better, night in and night out.
Yeah, she's the best player in the world right now, man. You know what I'm saying? And like she's just leaps and bounds, just better than everybody, man. Look, the numbers that she's putting up has never been put up before. Nobody in WNBA history averaged over 25 points per game except for Diana Taurasi.
Right.
I think age is at what 28 right now.
Right.
You know, she's just in a groove. And this is like when you're watching basketball and you hear these announcers, these media people be like, "Oh my God, like this person hasn't scratched the surface of their game yet." This is what it looks like when you're finally scratching the surface of your game. You know what I'm saying? That's where A'ja Wilson is at right now. This is year one of a 9-10 year prime run. You know what I'm saying?
Right. She's only 27. She'll be 28 in August.
Yeah, this is year one of it. This is it. Here we are right now, witnessing what prime athletes look like. You know, like she's just in that. Like I said on the phone, I said it to KDot on the phone, and this is her Michael Jordan 96 right now, where the game is just so easy. You know what I'm saying? Whether she can do everything, you know, she's a what you call a 3-level scorer. You know what I'm saying? Like a 3-level defender.
Right.
I don't think anybody ever said that before. Just now, somebody that can guard the paint, guard in the mid range, and guard in space. That's crazy. You know, A'ja Wilson is just a special talent, man. Just like what Cameron said, a league of her own. All right. So real quick, KDot, right? Since we got people in the comments and stuff, and somebody asked, I think it was Darius, asked about Sabrina Ionescu or whatever. I guess we can, talk some Liberty or just Sabrina real quick, who's having a great season, who's having kind of a low-key all WNBA first team season, KDot?
Yeah, it really isn't low key. And I want to give a shout out to Christina Williams because she's been in the group chat really, really kind of like saying, hey, she could be in that consideration for MIP as well. And we know that Dejanay Carrington is going crazy right now. Like, you cannot deny what Dejanay Carrington is doing for the Connecticut Sun. To be a 6th player of the year candidate last year, to coming into a starting role and being as great as she is for that Connecticut Sun team, there's no question in anybody's mind that she's the front runner right now for most improved player. But Sabrina, honestly, dog, Sabrina is hooping, and she's doing this, mind you, she's doing this in some aspects where Jonquel is a no-show in games, and when Brianna Stewart has been out or has been a no-show in games. And she has been leading that team to victories that you think that they should lose, and they actually win these games. She's either starting it off hot or she's closing it for the New York Liberty, and you can't deny that. Like, there's no, like, I haven't seen a timeline of Sabrina enthusiasts so quiet. And mind you, I'm using an antonym when I say Sabrina enthusiast. I haven't seen a timeline so quiet because it's like you have to bring the Caitlin Clark effect back into it, right? Because that's who's everybody talking about. Everybody's talking about Caitlin. Everybody's talking about Angel Reese. But quietly, seriously, Sabrina Ionescu is having an incredible season, and I can't disagree with you from a all WNBA first team standpoint. Like, she's been very, very consistent this year. Yeah. She's been and she's honed in to what we've been criticizing her for a long time, and I know injuries have a lot to do with it as well. And she's finally healthy, and she finally had a healthy offseason.
Yes.
But she's finally tapped in to getting into the paint and at least utilizing some of that mid-range that we've seen at Oregon. But more importantly, she's like digging into the paint much more than we've seen in past years.
And you know what? I'm glad you brought Caitlin Clark name up, man. Y'all gotta stop with the Caitlin Clark slander. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Come on, man. KDot, remember we talked about turnovers, right? Everybody talk about turnovers, KDot.
Everybody talk about I was the one that got dogged basically for defending the whole turnover notion because I brought up the fact that some of your favorite players are top 5 in turnovers in both the NBA and the WNBA.
The top 5 of the NBA, the top 5 of the WNBA are all Hall of Famers in turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's in the top 5 all time in turnovers on both sides are in the Basketball Hall of Fame. But KDot, remember, I text you an interesting stat about turnovers when it comes to Caitlin Clark, which negates everybody's opinion on Caitlin Clark when it comes to turnovers, right? Remember that?
Yeah, and that also factors into usage rate, and it goes back to the probability of you having the ball in your the more you have the ball in your hands, it's very, very likely that you're going to be the recipient of whatever that turnover is. So, I mean, yeah, again, like I don't want to talk about this ad nauseum because again, like people who actually know basketball would know what we're talking about, and people who just ball watch like they always do, they don't understand the magnitude of usage. And we're not even getting into analytics when it comes to that from a usage rate standpoint. Like we're looking at the straight up eye test. If you're looking at what Caitlin has done, and we'll get back, and I'm sorry guys, we'll get back to Sabrina in a minute, but when you're looking at what Caitlin does and what she's envisioning a play before it actually develops, and the recipient of that pass is probably a step or two slower. And yes, you're right, there are turnovers where it's a straight up bad turnover.
Yeah,
we understand that, but the rest of those turnovers, when you're looking at it in the game, if she has a literal lead pass and a player decides to stop in their motion and have a fingertip on the ball, not a full possession, but a fingertip on the ball, and that player loses the possession of that ball, I mean, the turnover is going to go to Caitlin. So, I mean, like, we have to, like, when we're talking about these things, like you can talk about the greatness, and then you can also talk about the criticisms. Like you could wish that she has less turnovers. Like I'm not saying that you can't, but my point that I made in that tweet where everybody went into a frenzy is that Caitlin is going to be talked about regardless. So are you going to tell me you're going to just continue to mention the turnovers as much as you mention the points, as much as you mention the assists? Because there's going to be more people that are going to be talking about her points and assists than a lot of the people who really, I mean, and I'm not going to say that these people don't care for her. They just don't care for the fact that she's getting the attention that she has. And that's another context thing that we have to stop as well. But I mean,
the crazy thing is that when we talk about turnovers with Caitlin Clark, she has a better record when she has 6 or more turnovers than when she has 6 or less turnovers.
Yeah,
she has a better record.
I get, I get that. And I'm gonna tell the fans this right now, because we got close to 1,100 fans in here listening. Like, yeah, we get that stat. And us as an entity, we all play ball at a high level. Like, we're not gonna use that as an excuse, but like the facts are the facts. Like the facts are the facts. You know, 36% of her games when she makes less than the 6 turnovers, like they have abysmal losing record. So that means the game plan must be working for the opponent, and they're keeping her from doing something that she's comfortable doing, which is probably playmaking and making her more of a scorer than actually making her the playmaker. It's literally the Candace Parker effect. When you make Candace Parker a scorer, you're more than likely to win the game because she's not focused on the playmaking part of it. There is a playmaking essence that Caitlin Clark wants to do first and not just score. So I mean, I totally get it. And when you look at the game last night, you saw that there were a lot of those passes could have easily been assists, but they were either fumbled or the defense got to the recipient of the pass and swiped down on the ball and all of that good stuff. I mean, like the Fever is very they've gotten a lot better since that gruesome first 16 games.
Yeah.
We can't deny that. They've gotten much better.
I think they started off 1-5, and then since 1-5, they're 11-10 or something like that.
Yeah, I believe it was 1-8. I think they started.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been playing really good basketball. And their schedule gets easier. I'm sorry that we pivoted over to Caitlin regarding the turnovers, but like I want to give Sabrina her flowers for real because there's no doubt that Sabrina has been hooping, and she's probably the reason why the Liberty are the way that they are now. And I'm going to say this as well, DA and Corey. Myself included, I was kind of perplexed at what Jonathan Cole was doing in the offseason, because I was like, yo, what is Jonathan Cole doing? Like, we don't see any free agency from a bench production standpoint. Like, we know that the starting five is solidified. We know that there could be a case where we probably would rather see Sloot come off the bench and be more of the leader off the bench, right? However, Leonie Phoebish, Kennedy Burke, and Doikic, those are great signings, bro.
Yeah.
And Phoebish coming via the infamous trade. Talking about Michaela Onyenwere going to Phoenix, Marina Mabry going to Chicago, and Beck Allen like going to Connecticut. That was a part of that. I believe that was a part of that deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, like that bench looks really, really good, man. And they've been holding it down. They've truly been holding it down.
I think Corey got to go. Corey, thank you for tapping in with us, brother, man. You know what I'm saying? Had to get you up on here real quick. Talk some hoops and everything. I know you always wanted to come on the big screen and stuff, on the Jumbotron and stuff, but be safe out there when you go to Vegas and stuff, man. Be safe out there, man, and looking forward.
You're going to Phoenix. You ain't going to Vegas?
Vegas. I'm sorry, Phoenix, man. My bad, man.
Listen, Corey. He got so much FOMO right now. Like you don't even know. I mean, we both.
Correct. You're not even going. You're not going either, KDot.
I don't care no more, man. Like now I'm talking hoops. I'm comfortable now. You want to put salt on the wound now?
Yeah, you want to laugh at me? You're gonna throw some salt in your sugars or whatever. I don't know, man. Whatever, man. Yo, Corey, man. We'll talk to you soon, brother. Be safe, man.
Be safe, Corey, man. Peace out.
I was really excited about getting on the show with y'all today.
Yes,
absolutely.
Sir, back on definitely, bro.
Yes, sir. Y'all be easy.
Yep, you too, bro.
You too, bro.
Yeah. That's my guy right there, man. Corey, man. You know what I'm saying? Special dude right there. That's my brother, man. Go way back. Me and Corey met on Anchor, yo. I was just looking for different podcast hosts to talk to. Then I just, linked up with this guy ever since then, man. You know what I'm saying? This dude has been in the building and everything. But yeah, I'm glad that he decided to talk women's basketball too. His first conversation was crazy. I remember he got his name wrong. I was like, yo. He was like, I don't know if I want to. Yo, Corey, just stick with it, bro. Now look at him.
Listen, I seen a conversation that he had with Alicia Clark, and that was a dope conversation that he had before the game. It was a couple games ago. So Corey is a real good dude. Met Corey in person at the preseason game when the Aces came to South Carolina versus the Puerto Rican national team. We had a real good time. I know he enjoyed himself. Like, it was crazy when we saw Dawn Staley come, passing by us, and she was gracious enough to holler at us. And we appreciate you, Coach Staley, for real. You know what we're talking about. We really appreciate you. It's on the way. It's on the way.
Yeah.
But going back to New York right quick, and I do want to give a shout out to Darius, who's been a resident Tex Winter Lounge person for us. He's always in the comments shouting us out and giving us love on the timeline. So I wanted to make sure that he knows that I know that we give the Liberty a hard time, because we give the Liberty a hard time because, first things first, DA and I are from the city.
Yes.
You think we don't have a special place in our hearts for New York? I mean, we would rather see the Liberty win a championship before any major sport in New York win another championship. Because guess what? That means the women did it before the men. We would rather that. But we got to see it happen. Like, it just hadn't happened. We got to see it happen.
Listen, and I know that we talk women's basketball a lot. We're 90% women's basketball, 10% NBA, whatever. Liberty, please, I beg you, win a championship before the Knicks. Please.
You know what I'm saying?
Please win a championship before the Knicks, man. When the Knicks passed on my brother back in 1999, it's been up. I have a grudge against him.
He's been beefing.
I don't want nothing good for the Knicks. You know
he's been beefing with the Knicks for a long time, and not like
Knicks, man. Come on, man. Listen,
I'm the resident level-headed Knicks fan. I'm not the over-the-top Knicks fan. And I really most of the time stay quiet about the Knicks because I don't really want to. I just don't like James Dolan. So like, you ain't gonna really hear me talk about the Knicks too much, because as long as Dolan is the owner, I'm like, forget you. So like
that. You hear that conversation with Kenyon Martin saying that it was never Dolan, it was just a Knicks front office. I'm like, Kenyon Martin, what are you doing?
Nah, Kenyon, come on. See, nah. I ain't getting into that. I ain't getting into it. I'm not getting into it.
I got a surprise for you real quick, since we're just chatting, talking basketball and stuff like that, man. But we got a nice little surprise and stuff. We got, like I said, we're boots on the ground, and it's been fun seeing our homegirl Lolo, do her thing. Lauren, we miss you, Lauren. We really do miss you so much, man.
Yeah, shout out to Lauren, aka Lolivia Pope, aka Loza Parks, aka Martin Luther King.
There she goes.
Hey,
Lauren right there with Cindy Brunson and Tarika Foles-Brasby right now in Phoenix. I told you we boots on the ground and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So dope seeing our people, getting these great events and stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? So, man. But like I said, win the championship before the Knicks, please. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to make no knee-jerk reactions.
I was about to say he's about to make a decree.
I was about to say it's gonna name his whole show Codename Liberty if they win a championship, but we're not gonna go that far.
Hey, you already know. I'm the resident host of Codename Liberty. Speaking of which, I'm gonna have a Codename Liberty before the weekend's out. So look for it Sunday. I think someone also requested a Codename Storm. I'll have a Codename Storm as well. So look out for that. It's going to be a busy weekend for me. Unfortunately, it's not unfortunate. I'm sorry. It's not unfortunate. I'm going to a wedding, so I'm celebrating nuptials this weekend with a close family member. And some other personal things are going on in my family, but I'm not going to get into that. However, that's why I'm not at AllStar this weekend, which I'm still incredibly upset that I'm not at AllStar this weekend.
Everybody's getting married but me. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy.
We're not. This is not going to be
it's not a therapy session.
In KDot therapy session. We're not doing it. We got We got 1163 in the building. They don't want to hear none of that.
Save that for the Artest effects. We'll huddle. Listen, I just honestly really wish that we was out there, man. You know what I'm saying? But in due time, you know what I'm
in due time, absolutely. And remember, the season isn't over, so we still have the finals. We don't know where the finals are going to be at just yet. We can anticipate, but we don't know where the finals are going to be at just yet. So, I mean, who knows? We'll get the credentials. We know this.
I tell you one thing, you know what I mean? Wherever people's at in the playoffs, I'll be there one of them games and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I'm just glad to be living in a WNBA city. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to be in a WNBA city. It's time and everything. But listen, I just hope that please bring WNBA AllStar Weekend to New York City, please. Please, that'd be nice.
Yeah, please. That would be honestly, it would be cheaper for me because you know what it is. I mean, that's the crib.
Listen, that's the crib. My family there. I don't need no hotel. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'll tell you this. I don't care if it's a flight or Amtrak. I'm there.
Listen,
I am there.
You talk Amtrak, you speaking my language, yo. You know what I'm saying? Listen, my journey to Indianapolis is crazy. I left Indianapolis to go to New York and then go from New York to go to New York to Indianapolis, whatever. Well, I left South Carolina to go to New York, then New York to Indianapolis. All on Amtrak, man. Listen, Amtrak got my dollars.
The Silver Star from Charleston to New York to Penn Station. You already know what it is. We know them tracks. We know them tracks.
Yeah, and definitely they had to take the Cardinal from New York to Indianapolis. Listen, New York to Indianapolis was 25 hours.
Yes,
25 hours. Crazy. You know what I mean? Crazy and stuff, man. But man, I wish we was in Phoenix, man. This is like one of those times where I really wish we was in Phoenix. But like I said, in due time, man. In due time, we will.
But again, we keep repeating ourselves. The 9450 is actually in Phoenix.
Yeah, we're there.
It's just that
the
KDot VA isn't in. Like the partner.
Yeah.
We're out there. So shout out again. Shout out to our illustrious partner, Lauren, aka Lo Olivia Pope, aka Loza Parks, aka Martin Luther King. I think that's become my tagline for her.
Lois Farrakhan.
Yo, peace.
Listen,
definitely.
What about this one, KDot? A new one, Lolo Seneschal.
I like that one. I like Lolo Seneschal.
Yeah. Speaking of that, where's she been? Was she playing this year? What's going on, man?
So she's healthy, but I don't think she's in the lineup because JC Sheldon, to be honest with you, the fifth pick has been killing.
Yeah,
honestly, and I would honestly like to see Lou Lopez Seneschal and JC Sheldon in that backcourt so that Enrique can spare a little bit of minutes. Like I would really like to see that because like you have a defender and a shooter in JC Sheldon, but then you really have a certified bucket getter in Lou Lopez Seneschal, but she's just not getting. And I don't know if it's because Latricia Trammell is such a defensive minded coach, and she wants to play sometimes through Tierra McGowan and Enrique a lot. But like when Enrique gets those minutes spared, like I want to see Lou Lopez get some buckets, man. Like we used to rave about Lou Lopez when she was at UConn. The way she was getting buckets off of those pin downs, the way that she was just getting buckets off of the staggers, like she was a certified bucket. You know
high on her game, man. Definitely high on her game, man. I just think that the little injury setback and stuff, and she got to work her way back up into the rotation and everything. So it's going to be a while. Looking forward to see how what she's doing during this Olympic break. This is a very long break, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what kind of content we're going to be putting out during this break and stuff. I got one.
We got a lot of content coming up. Listen, and I kind of want to just give them a little bit of a preview of like what's coming down the pike during this break. So for for those who know us, we love doing parallels. We love doing comparisons. We love doing like puns when it comes to like our favorite players and meeting our favorite like shows or movies. So this is one of the things that we're definitely going to talk about that's going to be coming down the pike. So check this out.
Oh, so I get to KDot.
Yeah,
you bounce. That's a bounce.
I was doing the same thing in the background. But listen, the Mid-Range Mafia show is indeed on the way. And what is the Mid-Range Mafia? You're going to have to just be patient, guys. But we coined the phrase Mid-Range Mafia years ago. So if anybody tried to claim the Mid-Range Mafia and they weren't the 9450, go ahead and just tap them on the shoulder and say, yeah, y'all biting. Because we've talked about the Mid-Range Mafia for a very, very long time, and we're going to give you guys a exclusive list of who we think is a part of the Mid-Range Mafia. We have an entire dictionary of explanations. Who's going to be the Don? Who's the Godfather? The consigliere? Like we have it, and that will be coming to you during the Olympic break. Another thing that I want y'all to kind of understand is there was a series that I was really I put a lot of work in, and DA can attest to this because he was an executive producer for this as well. We wanted to put a lot of effort, and we are putting a lot of effort into giving the fans what it's like to see history as the Houston Comets won 4 championships consecutively, back to back to back to back, right? And I came up with this concept where we would do a scripted documentary podcast series. And that scripted documentary podcast series would have been for the listening ear on Apple Podcasts or wherever you consume your podcasts, in which we highlight each season of the Houston Comets. Well, unfortunately, that fell through because of content licensing. And the reason why it fell through because of content licensing is because there are people out there that want you to spend enormous amount of money just for 30 seconds of clips. Do I think that's messed up? Yeah. But do I understand that it's business, and because we don't own the rights to it, the person or the people or the entity who owns the rights of it can do whatever they want with it? Of course, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be salty about that because business is business. However, we wanted to present you guys with a scripted documentary, but we've improvised. So, Reimagining a Dynasty, the Houston Comets will be a full live podcast coming soon during the Olympic break. What better time to do it than the Olympic break? We have plenty of time, and we have some surprises for you guys. For those, and shout out to our Patreon folks, because the Patreon folks, they know what I'm getting ready to say. You have a snippet of the conversation that we had with the illustrious Coach Van Chancellor of those 4-time WNBA champion Houston Comets. And that was a really, really good conversation, I might add. So again, thank you to the Patreon listeners who gets all of the exclusive content for the 9450. And make sure, if you do want to be a Patreon member, just hit us up. Patreon.com/KI9450. Unfortunately, the 9450 was taken. So we had to say Patreon.com/KI9450. And the KI is for keeping it 9450.
Maybe we
So
should get 9450 network or something like that. I don't know.
we can, and I'm gonna definitely figure out a way to change it. So just look out for that. But hit up the Patreon. Y'all can always again hit up the Patreon if y'all want to look at or listen to exclusives. Always the chat in there is like so dope. And shout out to our leaders of the chat, Dayshell, Moni, Cam. Shout out to you guys. You guys do such a great job just keeping conversations going. And we try our best to answer all of the questions that you guys have. So again, we have that coming down the pike, and we also have more comparisons coming down the pike in regards to current or former WNBA players in their player comps. There was a attempt to have, I guess, WNBA players be compared to NBA players a while back, and I'm not going to talk in detail about that particular list, but we have and we will have a list that compare our current WNBA players to WNBA players of the past. Trust me, guys, if you know the history of the WNBA, it's not hard to compare our current WNBA players to the WNBA players and legends of the past. So we will also have that. And finally, it's probably not finally, but it's
definitely not finally.
Tons of content that we have ready for y'all during the break. So there's going to be plenty to talk about. We also have a revamped WNBA top 25 list. We've been talking about that for a long time as well. The original top 25 list that we had for the WNBA's 25th season was extremely great. I can tell you that DA and I spent 6 hours from 9 p.m., I believe, like that night all the way to like the wee hours of the morning, trying to get that list handy for everybody. And we ended up getting that done, and we have a new list that'll be coming up. And the good thing about this list is that we're going to have our partner Lauren be a part of that. So that's to be seen, Darius. And the question at hand, you'll just have to wait and see. So it's going to be tons of content that we're going to be, bringing out. And this is live and this is recorded. So, like, again, if somebody try to bite, just know that they just tried to get it before we actually did it. But guess what? We're going to do it the right way. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm incredibly upset because I'm not at AllStar, so I'm very arrogant tonight. And I've been talking a lot, and y'all know I don't talk a lot. So
let me give a shout out to some sponsor work real quick because
definitely do that.
All right, so listen, everybody that's listening to this podcast right now, listen, the Art Test Foundation presents our 6th annual back to school basketball clinic that is on Saturday, August 17th, 2024 at the Variety Boys and Girls Club of Queens. That's in Long Island City. 21-12 30th Road, Astoria, New York, 11102. Food and drinks are provided. This is for ages 8 to 14, girls and boys as well. You're getting a free t-shirt, you're getting a backpack, and also you're going to get a signed autograph of Metta World Peace. This event on that Saturday, August 17th, is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You might see me there putting these kids through a lot of drills. Please bring your kids. If you're in that New York City area, even if you're not from the New York City area, please bring your kids to this back to school event. It's the 6th year of it. I actually started it off back in 2018 with the basketball camp, and then I did it again in partnership with Showtime. in 2019, and then my dad, my brother, family took it over, and we are doing it again. Please listen, and I want to say this too as well, because just due to like the fire marshal law in New York, we are capping at 56 kids, but I think we have like over 200 school bags. So everybody is leaving with a school bag. You pull up and you can't get into the camp, but you want a school bag, you definitely got one. So please, August 17th, 2024, pull up to the Variety Boys and Girls Club of Queens, and let's train these kids in basketball and give them some educational tools as well. Shout out to the Artest Foundation. Shout out to the Artest University. Shout out to the Artest Management Group. Shout out to the Artest Media Group, and putting this thing together as well. So that's what it is.
Yeah, and I want to say I'm very proud of what you guys have always done for the community, and continue to keep doing this for the kids. I mean, we live in an era nowadays where we have to make sure that these kids are doing something other than being in front of a phone or in front of the video games, because like it can be very, very dangerous because of the access that kids have nowadays. When you and I were growing up, we didn't have a lot of access to a lot of stuff. We were outside. So yeah, it's so great that you and the Artest Foundation are doing this for the kids. Make sure y'all go do that. Make sure y'all register. Again, it'll cap at 56, but over 200 bags. If you don't RSVP register, but you do want to get there, make sure you get a bag for your kid if you're in New York. Yeah. So, make sure y'all do that, for the Artest Foundation. So shout out to you guys for doing that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then, maybe I'll grab some bags and give some, if any of our supporters got children and they need backpacks and stuff, maybe I'll probably slide off with about 10 of those and, send them out to the good people and everything. That supports us at the 9450 as well and everything. You know what, 2K? Honestly, I would love to have a 9450 event where we're training, young girls. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And,
just getting that women's basketball, because there was a stat that was just saying like the majority of girls after they're done with like high school, they just drop out of sports and everything.
Right.
And that's like a big reason why we're still continuing on doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, listen, honestly, if we can make $1 million doing this thing, you know what I'm saying, with podcasting and the way the podcast business is right now, by 2030, but the ad revenue is going to make it like $150 billion business. Listen, if we could make some money off of that, that's cool as well. But honestly, man, like me personally, I really do this because I really just love, women's basketball. But then it just got more, as I talk to my friends that played, the women in my age bracket when they played basketball and stuff, like a Lizette Morales out of New York, who was a great player, all-city player in New York, Kendra Romaine, who was actually in the backcourt with Nisha Butler, that went to Georgia Tech, Kendra Romaine, one of the best players in New York City history, if women's basketball was as elite now elite then as it is now, I just think that a lot of these ladies would have, followed the dream and then try to get to the WNBA and everything like that. But, they dropped out because there wasn't really nothing going on back in those days and stuff. So, like, I really just changed my whole mindset and be like, you know what? I mean? The money's good and I would love to make some money from this thing. But at the end of the day, I want to see more, young ladies play this game of basketball. Like, I know so many talented women that did not take basketball any further. You know what I'm saying? I got some that played in college, but they didn't play pros. Young lady that I grew up with who was like the best player in our school, IS-204 in Queens. She ended up going to Christ the King, and then she ended up playing at Hofstra. Her name was C.G. McCollum. C.G. McCollum is one of the best female players I've ever seen outside of Shamika Holdsclaw. You know what I mean? And the fact that like she didn't play like pro is crazy. There's another player. Her name is Monique Bell. She went to August Martin High School in Queens. And if y'all talking about Alyssa Thomas, Monique Bell was like that too as well. Like she was like that. You know, she was another one of the man. It's crazy. Like even with our co-host from 21 Titles, Brittany. Obviously, she did play pro. I think she played like 1 year though. You know what I'm saying? But I also thought that like if it was like more like motivated,
more opportunity and
stuff like that, she would have definitely played and went pro. I mean, she played for C. Vivian Stringer at Rutgers. You know, like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so like my goal, my thing is like that's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I want to see the young gentlemen too as well making in sports too. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that as well. But like, you know, we doing this women's basketball thing, man. It gotta be, you know, more than just like, all right, we're a podcast and we're talking this as well. There got to be like a motivating factor behind it. And for me, it's just like, you know, maybe that young lady is actually watching us right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's hearing this information. And it's like, you know, cool, right? Like, think about it, right? Lil Aubrey, the young lady from Las Vegas and stuff with her parents. I mean, they travel.
Shout out to Aubrey. Yeah, shout out to Aubrey because she follows she follows us, right? Yeah. From our AU days. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about Aubrey's parents and Aubrey herself. Like she's dope. But continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just a lot of young ladies that I thought that would play pro basketball if, you know, women's basketball in the United States was more out. There's another one that went to St. Michael's Academy. Her name is Amelia Henderson, and we call her Mimi for short. Shalimar Walker, Lauren Best, Siobhan Moultrie, all these people that I know that I came and I got to know. I used to go watch these games. Listen, I became Kendra Romain's friend. I seen her play with Nisha Butler in the backcourt, and I think that she had like 36 points and 12 assists. And this is Nisha Butler we're talking about.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This is Nisha Butler we are talking about. And another player too, as well. I think obviously she actually is in the WNBA league office, but like, listen, her name is Bethany Donovan. I don't know if you ever heard of. I don't know if you ever heard of Bethany Donovan. I don't know.
And she's going to be a part of the group who just acquired basically the ownership of the Toronto expansion team. Listen,
KDot, I'm sorry. I'm from Queensbridge, and I used to go travel to Riverdale to see Nisha Butler play. But then I seen Bethany Donovan play. I said, yo, hold on. Who is this? Who is this person?
Bethany's a problem.
Nisha was like the face. You know what I'm saying? But like, yo, Bethany was no slouch.
Bethany was a problem.
And I know y'all see Bethany in the league office at the draft, holding the draft lottery cards and stuff like that. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Bethany Donovan was a 25-10 player her entire high school career. I'm talking about as a freshman, she came in there and put in work. You know what I'm saying? And took a small school and then went to Old Dominion. This is when Old Dominion was good too. This is Old Dominion was a good D1. You know what I'm saying? So like, man, like it's just so many, so many basketball players that I thought, not saying that, players like Nisha or Bethany, they slipped through the cracks. They didn't slip through the cracks, but just like players, like it's a lot of unknown players that I've seen growing up. Like there was a girl in Queensbridge, like it was like Cynthia Cooper, Nature Livingston is her name, man. Shoot. And she was playing with the dudes and hooping.
It goes back to opportunity and exposure in the way that we don't see it in women's sports. And this isn't just women's basketball. This is women's sports. And I want to just talk about this briefly because I think it's very important for our listeners to really hone into this, because when we talk about opportunity, like let's just not think about equality right quick, right? Equality is one thing. Equity is one thing. But the opportunity to showcase your talent and have someone that's like-minded to want to invest in you the way that they invest in some other entity, that's very, very important. And that's what we've seen the lack of on the women's side for a very, very long time. And when you have certain players that on the men's side, you probably heard that that player could have been as good as he could have been, but he got into some trouble.
Yeah.
This player could have been as good as he was, but he had this devastating injury and never recovered from it. Had players that he could have been as good as he is, but the opportunities just weren't there for him because he wasn't smart enough. For women, that's incredibly different. You
Yeah.
don't hear a lot of it saying because of an injury, because of they got in trouble, because like you hear because they just didn't have the opportunity and the exposure that you see us as a counterpart had. And to me, I really, really think that's very unfortunate. I
Yeah.
was a D1 walk on, and I can tell you guys that it wasn't my dad who taught me the game. It wasn't an uncle. It wasn't a cousin. Well, it was a cousin, but it wasn't a man cousin. It was women cousins who taught me how to play the game in the cerebral way that I've played the game. They told me as long as I had defense, as long as I could shoot, and as long as I can make the right play, I will make it as far as I wanted to, no matter how tall I was.
Yes.
And I always appreciate my cousins for doing that for me because that's who I was raised by. I was raised by majority women. My grandfather was pretty much the only male entity that I had in my life that I could see on a daily basis, other than uncles and cousins. But they taught me the game, and I was able to walk on at Clemson University because of them. With addition to other coaches that I've had, coach me. So it for me, I think that when it comes to looking at the dynamics of what women have to go through in order to just succeed, I think we need to just be a little more mindful and a little bit better at how we articulate, how we speak to women. And I want to really, really take a serious, I want to take some serious time to encourage men that for men who think that other men are panderers, or they want to, they say things to protect women all because they want to sleep with them and stuff like that. Like, get that out of your mindset, because to be honest with you, the men that talk like that, more than likely their mother did something so bad to them that they are pushing some type of trauma out on men who actually were raised right and protect women the way that they do, and more importantly, protect Black women the way that they do, because they understand the plight of Black women and what they have to go through as the most disrespected species in the world. So we have to be incredibly mindful how we speak to just women, period, but more
Yeah.
importantly, how we speak to Black women, because it's very, very dire that we be very, very careful how the narrative is drawn to a lot of what these women go through. And also remember, we said that they probably didn't have the opportunity. So they're one of a billion. It's a 1 in a billion chance that they have the opportunity that they have. But then you talk to them the way that you talk to them, knowing we all know that it's a business. Yeah, men go through it too. I get that. But still, like, even men don't deserve that. Even men of a particular standard don't deserve that. So just be careful how we speak to our women in that regard. But go ahead,
Yeah.
DA.
Yeah. So, and another thing, a final story on like why I want to do this. Now, I named a lot of friends, and this is one more friend that I have to name. And I've never talked about this before, but I'm gonna talk about it now. And her name is Natoya Jones. So, Natoya Jones, aka Nene, she's from the Bronx, right? I met her through my sister when I used to go visit my sister in the Bronx. So the crazy thing was, I was scrolling on Twitter one time and somebody put a picture up of a milk crate, you know what I'm saying, hung up on the phone pole and stuff, you know? And it took me back to when I was that kid, 13, 14 years old. And I went up there to the Bronx to go see my sister and everything. And then I met Natoya, and she kicked my ass the first time we met in basketball. Literally kicked my ass in basketball. I mean, bullied me. You know what I mean? Like, she was quick. She had a mid-range jump shot. She had handles. You know, she was athletic. She was just better than me when we was young, you know? And I used to go back up to the Bronx every weekend to get my ass kicked by this girl, you know? It was crazy. And so, like, obviously this is before social media and stuff. So, we lost touch, and then I didn't see her until years later. I was at this was when I first started, when I first got back to New York. I seen her at 125th Street, KDot, 125th Street,
Yep.
coming out the 4 train. And I was like, yo, how you doing? And this, that, and the other. And I'm with my girl at the time. Introduced her, and I was like, yo, this is the one that, kicked my ass all the time when I was young. This is what I'm telling you about right here. It was a short, brief 2-3 minute conversation and everything. We exchanged phone numbers and everything. And Darius, that's crazy that maybe she can be an inaugural member of the Mid-Range Mafia, right? You know what I'm saying? I agree with you on that. But like years go by and stuff, and we kind of lost touch again. So I'm scrolling. I was like, all right, now I got Facebook. Let me go find her. This is 2023. This is last year. I'm like, let me go find her. And I couldn't find her name and stuff like that. So I reached out to my sister, Toya. I got a sister named LaToya. And I'm like, yo, Toya, I need to get in contact with Quinn because I need to get in contact with Nene. Toya was like, yo, you didn't hear? Nene passed away. And I was just floored. And so I typed in her name and everything, and I found out on how she passed away and stuff, man. Like, she was killed. You know what I'm saying? She was killed, and I didn't know like this whole time because I was looking for her and everything, and so like that right there was like, yo, it really messed me up because of how like this bond I had with basketball, from even with just women's basketball as a young kid. And so I kind of felt like when me and you started doing this, man, I kind of feel like as much as, you inspired me to do this and we doing the whole clubhouse thing and stuff, I kind of felt like, damn, yo, maybe she was working through you, KDot, to get to me to cover women's basketball and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was like one of the most toughest things I had to deal with. You know what I mean? I actually wrote a blog about it and stuff, KDot. Natoya, she passed away on March 7th, 2021, KDot. A couple of months before we started this thing, because we started on May 6th.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. Like, it's sad, but I still have those fond memories of playing basketball with her and stuff like that. The only woman in Daniel Artest basketball history I never beat one-on-one. I'm 0-for against her. No wins, KDot. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's like my introduction to women's basketball. Like, even like my Indiana Fever practice days, just like, I really love this game of basketball. It's the most purest form of basketball. It really is. And it really just drives it home. Like, damn, like I'm really glad to be doing this. I'm glad to be doing this. And now that I figured out my purpose on covering women's basketball, like now I know my why and stuff like that. Now, because I now want to see young ladies, get prepared and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And we got another young lady in Queensbridge right now. Her name is Sanaya. In 2019, when I did my second annual basketball camp, we had a one-on-one tournament, right? I think Sanaya was about 13 or 12 at the time. Now, this was boys and girls of any age. So we had people as old as 18. Sanaya won the one-on-one tournament, KDot. A girl.
We love it. That's what it's all about, right? Like, that's what it's all about.
Man,
we know that they're out there. Is just giving them the opportunity to showcase the incredible talent that we have, and it's our jobs to continue to do that. And again, this is what Jump Ball and Study Hall is for.
Yeah,
this is what Keeping It 9450 Codename WBB is for. Yeah. This is what Out of Bounds Sports is for. This is what 21 Titles is for. I appreciate everyone. I appreciate everyone on this network, and everyone gets their fair share. And I don't take that for granted at all, because when we started this, we said we wanted to amplify the women of this game. And we will continue to do that through the ups, through the downs. And there's more ups than there has ever been downs. Trust me. Yeah. And I am having so much fun doing this. And I truly, truly believe that with, the supporters that we have, they will continue to do that as well. And I know Darius, Darius, come on, man. You talking to the film, you talking to two of the biggest film guys that you could.
Well, I'm a medium film guy. You're Tex Winter, okay?
So listen, obviously I'm always big in DA up. He's always being modest. Stop being modest sometime and just accept it. But yeah. I'll definitely. As a matter of fact, Darius, I got something for you. Now I'm gonna have to extend Codename Liberty, but just for you, I'll do a film version. I'll do a film study version of Codename Liberty and talk about the greatness of Sabrina Ionescu right now and how she's, leading this New York Liberty team to a 21-4 record. So how about that? Just give me about a week to try to get that set. And y'all heard it live. It's 13:51 in here. Y'all heard it live. I'll have a Codename Liberty film session, and we'll do that.
And salute to everybody in here that's just standing here for this whole hour and 38 minutes too. Like, right from the beginning to the end. Really appreciate y'all for that. Yo, that's kind of dope, man. Y'all really want to hear us. Y'all want to hear my voice? It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And KDot, aka the beautiful black man and stuff. I wish that was on for that one right there. They didn't see that one, KDot. They didn't see that 8 minutes and 48 seconds of us talking, doing a test and stuff like that. That they didn't see that. That was funny as hell. But I do like that. Darius said that he's going from fan to fanalist. I like that. I like that.
Hey,
that's you.
That's you
right there, resident fanalist. You know what I'm saying? I like that. That's a good one right there. But this has been like, a really, really fun episode. We was actually supposed to talk about AllStar Weekend and give our predictions and everything on who's going to do this and who's going to do that. Then we're supposed to do our kind of mid-season awards and stuff, but we damn sure didn't. We're not going to do it now. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait for that extra content.
Yeah, maybe I'll come on tomorrow and talk to the camera, basically talking to a wall while y'all listen to me talk, and then I'll just do like my version of WNBA halftime awards and stuff like that. Just because y'all here and everything. Maybe I might see if I can find a guest somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I got to figure something out. Maybe maybe I'll have to find a guest. You know what I'm saying? I gotta figure something out. But before we get out of here, like Kate, I said earlier, we got some stuff up the pipeline and everything. We got 2 players that we are working on coming on the show and stuff. If y'all in the Patreon, go into the Patreon chat. Y'all will know which players that we have down the pipeline that we're actually working on. I've been speaking to their managers and stuff like that. So we're definitely working on that. One of them is actually in Phoenix. Hopefully I can get Lauren to go and, get an interview with her. But if not, then, Lauren's booked and busy right now. All right. Lauren is booked and busy, and I'm peanut butter and jealous of her right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that was dope. I ain't gonna. Yo, we be having the craziest puns. Yo, peanut butter and jealous. Yo, that was
peanut
dope.
butter and jealous, man. You know what I'm saying? Peanut butter and jealous. We should be there, KDot. We should be there. Why do you think we talk about an hour and 40 minutes? We ain't got nothing to do.
Man.
Obviously, you go into, see some nuptials and everything like that, but still, we ain't got nothing to do, man. This is gonna be fun, man. But I might come back on, tomorrow to talk more, to talk some awards and stuff like that, man. Just to give my spiel on certain things and stuff. I know that we gave Caitlin Clark some love. Damn sure I don't want to forget about Angel Reese too as well, who's been amazing as well. I know people probably have her rookie of the year. People have Caitlin Clark rookie of the year. Kurt Miller is killing Rakia Jackson rookie of the year because he don't want to play her of all these minutes. Like these, it's crazy, man. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for listening to Keeping It 9450 Codename WBB. I got it, KDot. Don't forget to follow us on social media, on Twitter at the 9450, on Instagram at the 9450_, as well as TikTok on the 9450_, and on YouTube as well at the 9450_. Don't forget our sponsors, Welsh Mode Coffee. All right, that's www.welshmodecoffee.com. Also, SeatGeek. Don't forget, SeatGeek.com. Enter the code the 9450. All right, we getting out of here. Oh yeah, one more thing too as well. Don't forget that back to school clinic. All right, Saturday, August 17th, 2024. Variety Boys and Girls Club of Queens, 20-12, 30th Road, Astoria, New York, 11102. Like I said, free for ages 8 to 14 girls and boys. Go get your t-shirt, your backpack, signed picture of Meta World Peace. This is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're giving out food and drinks as well, brought to you by the Artest Foundation. All right, with that being said, I want to say thank you very much, everybody, for tapping in with us. Y'all know how we sign off, man. Love is love. Peace. Rest in peace to you, Natoya. Love you. And thank you for always being a friend. 1.